Grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I am Cleopadra Sophia the Bodhi, and in this video, we are going to sum up 3 hard years of research with a very simple statement. 3 years ago, I asked a question. Exactly 3 years ago, I did a live stream. I'm going to either link it or I'm going to share it. I'll probably do both. And I asked the question, is it time to retire? Literally October the 8th, 2022, exactly 3 years ago, I asked the question, is it time to retire? And of course, I received a lot of pushback at the time, and I understand because I was on a different wave. I was tapping into a new frequency that has basically come to rule on this planet, and I was asking all of these questions at this time. Basically, who's the mother? Who is the mother? And if we are ruled by women, if we were born from a woman, okay, why would a woman who birthed us allow us to suffer? Because if you yourself went through childbirth, there's no way that you would willingly watch another woman suffer. Like, they're going to suffer as a result of the childbirth, but you're not going to willingly sit back and watch them suffer without providing them some type of guidance. And so basically for the last 3 years, we have been looking for these women who birthed us, who brought us here, who called us, trying to figure out why would they bring us here and leave us without the knowledge that we need to be successful. Like, what kind of woman would do that? And the answer is they didn't. They didn't bring us here and leave us. Because I had the question, I've been asking the question, or I actually had the insight of, what if my creator is a woman? What if my creator is a woman? It was a woman who created me, right? Now, we were all birthed through the womb, so that's like an obvious statement. But if the Lord our God is one, right? The mother and the father together must come to create the child. But what if it was a woman who called me into being? Okay, so what do I mean by that? I've been rewatching some of my older videos, and one of the things that I said was, when I was talking about Mary, she was born without corruption. And then also her mother, Anna, was also born without corruption, and she birthed 3 children without corruption. Now, we've been looking at this term corruption, but I hadn't really tied it all together, right? Corruption has to deal with being for sale. Now, we have said that, right? But I'm summarizing. Corruption has to do with being for sale. If you are a woman for sale, that means you come from a bloodline in which women are for sale. Meaning, back to the whole PBR thing and all of that, there are particular tribes, groups of people in which the women's virginity is for sale. And there's groups where the women's virginity is not for sale. So this means that both Anna and Mary came from situations where the women were not for sale. Now, Mary was allegedly a Levite, right? But that must have been on her father's side, because on her mother's side, her mother was also born without corruption. So on her mother's side, she must have been one of the other 12 tribes, because the women, or the 10 tribes, because Levi and Judah, their women are for sale. The other 10 tribes, they didn't participate in that stuff. So therefore, their women were not for sale. This so-called Sumerians, Seminoles, I forgot I had gotten to all of that. It's just a mess, right? These women weren't for sale. Okay. So that tells me that when Mary engaged with Joseph, it was not a sale. Hear me now. It wasn't a sale. Mary was very young, right? She was young. We know that. She was about 14. And Joseph was much older. He was like probably 25, 26, okay? The only situation where a 14-year-old would be with a 24-year-old, let's say it's a 10-year difference. The only situation where a 14-year-old will be with a 24-year-old if she was sold to him. Now, why do I say that? Look at Hagar. Hagar was given away by her father from her princesshood and given to Abraham as a result of her father trying to sleep with Sarah and Sarah not defending herself. So, because Sarah was for sale, she was for sale. And Hagar, in turn, was for sale because her father gave her away as a gift, right? That means you're for sale. I would never give one of my children away. Like, they're not for sale. Okay? So, Mary, okay, this is why she got with Joseph, because she wanted to. It was for love, obviously. It had to be for love. And that's why the angel came and talked to her. Excuse me, Gabriel came and talked to her, Eve, came and talked to her and say, listen, you love this man, the whole young age thing is probably an issue. And we know how this looks because what? If you get with somebody that much older than you, usually it's because it's a transaction. However, what we need you to do is go ahead, engage with him in intercourse at your age so you can birth this child, so it can be known throughout the ages that you were without corruption, without defilement. What did these men interpret that as? Oh, she was a virgin. That's not what that meant. It meant that she was with Joseph by her own will. She chose him. And again, I will mention this. If you know anything about what the old timers say about having boys versus having girls, if you have a female daughter, a female girl, you only had intercourse one time. If you have a male, you have to have intercourse several times over several days during your ovulation time, not just once. So specifically that she had a boy means that they had intercourse multiple times. That way it was no confusion about why she did it. It wasn't she was raped. It wasn't any of that. It was by her choice for her love and devotion for Joseph. And for the God, who told her what had to be done in order for this story, the knowledge of this story to be passed down to the women. The men have interpreted this story entirely wrong. From the beginning until this point, they have interpreted the story wrong. And the women, with their old wives' tales, saying, hey, in order to have a boy, you got to have sex multiple times. And the men are like, nah, that's not true. We don't have the science for that. So you're making it up. Like, not making it up. I know how to engage in knowledge. I know how women's bodies work. I know how the womb works. Why would you have to have intercourse multiple times in order to have a boy? Well, boys need to be raised by men. Boys need to be raised by their fathers. So if you have sex one time, you'll have a girl, because why? The girl can be raised by a mother alone. And it's fine. She'll turn out just fine. Multiple times, because a man needs to be raised by another man. And so if you have sex multiple times with the same person, that means that it's not an accident. It wasn't a rape. It wasn't anything like that. That's how it works. This is an old wives' tale. Only women would know this. Only women would understand this. Only women could verify this. A man could never verify this because the man does not have the womb. They provide the parts, but they don't have the womb. Okay? And so it was a woman who called us here. It was a woman. It was divine feminine energy who called us onto this planet. And we're calling out to divine feminine energy who called us onto this planet to say, hey, we are tired. We desire to retire. Now, does retire mean not work? That's not what that means. It means that we can no longer carry the yoke of taxation. They have been, again, this goes into my video about Issachar. Issachar was the yoke bearer. He was the one who bore the yoke. They put all of the sins of the tribes of Israel on Issachar, because he is the one who was capable of reading both the Torah and the Tarot. He was the diviner. And because Issachar was the diviner, they thought it right to put the yoke of the 12 tribes on the diviner. We're the diviners. We are the tuning forks of this planet. And they felt like it was okay to put the yoke of the 12 tribes of all the peoples on the earth on the diviners. And I am saying no. I speak for all the diviners. We're not going to bear the yoke of the entire planet. Everyone has to bear their own yoke. And therefore, we need to retire from bearing the yoke of the planet. And how do we do that? We do that by synchronizing the calendar. Because I cannot bear the yoke of, if I synchronize the calendar, I'm not bearing the yoke of the whole planet, because now the whole planet is responsible for the knowledge. Because what? We've put it in the ley line. So you may not get it personally, but your spirit team will get it. It's going out there. So yeah, I'm going to have to go back to doing daily videos. I just got to figure out how to do them so they're not so taxing. But I'm going to work on that. In the meantime, I need everybody to understand what's going on here. We are the yoke bearers. And we have decided we're not going to bear the yoke of the earth. We actually want to synchronize the earth with the heaven. And that's what my calendar does. It synchronizes the timing on the earth with the timing on the heaven. This is the physical process that will allow us to retire. That's all I can say. That's the only thing that makes sense. Okay? And so, that being said, I reconfirm my statement and say, instead of saying, is it time, we're not asking a question of, is it time to retire? We're saying, we are ready to retire. We are ready to retire. The diviners are retiring from being the yoke bearers of this secret knowledge, and we are making it public. How to do all of these things, how to tap into the spirit, how the spirit realm works, all of that. I've done nothing but that for 3 years. In order for me to retire, I had to expose the secrets. And I did a video about that where I said, disclosure begins with me, and it begins with disclosing the secrets of the womb. So for the last 3 weeks, you'll see my episodes with CryptodeMedici. We have been talking about the secrets of the womb. Not from the perspective of my womb is a weapon, or my womb is a hindrance, but from the position of my womb is a birther. My womb births the nations. My womb brings about the abundance. My womb brings it all in, and I'm not going to weaponize it. We're not weaponizing the womb. By discussing it the way that I'm discussing it, with CryptodeMedici, we're de-weaponizing the womb. They have weaponized it because they made it taboo to talk about. But women are only talking about it with other women. They're not talking about it with men, not white men. Black women are not talking about their womb with white men. They're not doing it, except for me. I am doing it because it is time to inform them on the secrets of the womb, on the secrets of creation. So that's what this process has been, demystifying the womb. And not in a weird way, and not in a way that they're going to be able to use it to corrupt. But once these things are out there in the ley line and the spirit realm knows and everybody knows, they can no longer call us the yoke bearers. The bearing of the yoke of the womb is a heavy burden. But it's not a heavy burden when you share it. And because women don't want to share and they think that sharing means sexing a bunch of men, that's not what sharing is. The sharing means discovering the secrets of your own womb and then telling those secrets to people. And it doesn't mean rehashing the trauma. That's not what it is. Like, I know that's what people want. Oh, well, I just tell, oh, I was abused and this and that. No. We're not rehashing trauma, okay? This is not traumatic. I'm not discussing this in a traumatic way. I have not ripped myself into a million pieces with no possible way of putting myself back together. I have said, look, I did what I did. I am who I am. Today, tomorrow, and next week, I'm going to be the same way. I told this man privately in his videos, where's the big booty hoes at? You're supposed to have the big booty hoes. And you're supposed to let me talk to them and make sure they got their mind right. That's how it's supposed to work. Like I literally said, like a Jeffrey Epstein is Ghislaine Maxwell, except we're going to be teaching these big booty hoes how to do the right thing and how not to do the wrong thing. This is what PBR was trying to do. But it was a man trying to tell the secrets of the womb. It don't work. A woman has to convey the secrets of the womb. A man cannot convey the secrets of a womb. And it's not Marie Laveau. She wasn't conveying the secrets of the womb. It's not hoodoo. Voodoo does not convey the secrets of the womb. It hides them. It masks them. It says, oh, well, it requires initiation. What I'm doing, there's no initiation. This is folk magic. And if you watch animals give birth and die and all that, you would know all of that. This is something that can be learned through simple animal observation. But it hasn't been because they took all of that and separated us from our food, from our everything. And so it takes a woman, black woman, birther of humanity, to disclose the secrets of the womb to who those people call our enemy. When my enemy is the one who uses and abuses Juno, i.e. Mary, uses and abuses Juno, i.e. Mary, all of these professional victims units to say what? Mary was abused. Mary made a choice. She wasn't abused. She wasn't molested. She made a choice. The angel came to her and said, hey, I need you to make this choice. Because through you, the world can be saved. Because you will be betrothed without corruption, without being for sale. And this information isn't for sale. I'm not selling him this information. I'm having 2+ hour conversations, going back and recording them. Now I'm going back and taking down the notes and making like points, summarizing and all that stuff. Ain't no price on that. And in exchange, I've been made offerings. That's fair. And that's how it's supposed to work. This is a community we're building. Can't have first of all, you can't birth a child by yourself. Okay? You can't birth a child by yourself. You can't impregnate your womb by yourself. That is a lie. And therefore, you can't uncover the truth by yourself. It takes people working together from different perspectives to get the job done. And that's what we're doing. So I just wanted to make this quick video. Yes, it's time to retire. Yes, we request to be retired, and we want to be retired through the same system that we were imprisoned, that the yoke was put on us. The yoke was put on us through taxes, and therefore through taxes we need to be retired. Blood in, blood out. This is the way they designed the system, not me. So I'm hoping to have some positive updates on that, because that's how it has to be done. They put us in, because in my video I said this: when they finally unenslaved us, this is what they would do. Before you got paid a cent, they took out their taxes. This has been going on since they've been doing slavery on this land. They've been taking the money from the people producing it before they even got to allocate the funds. And therefore, that's how we have to be restored. Before they get to allocate their funds, they have to restore us through the same mechanism that they used on us and continue to use on us to this day. Don't get me started on the tax scam, because y'all know I will go off on that. But it's a scam. It's a whole scam. And so we're moving forward. And everybody has to tell their spirit team, yes, I am retiring from bearing the yoke of taxes, okay, of being taxed, of being held responsible for the divination. That's not my responsibility. Everybody's responsible for their own divination, not just one group of people, okay? So, shalom, peace and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.